Hey, what's up? I just want to make a little short video. I just had a great experience. Um, I I had to run an errand, and I ran into one of my heroes. And I never talk about him. I talked about him in my book, but it got edited out because I talked about a lot of stuff in my book. They just couldn't put all those stories in there. But the first autograph I got as a kid, I got from this guy. And I just ran into him at the grocery store, man, and I'm excited almost to the point I got tears in my eyes because I felt like that kid that was in the 5th grade that walked up to him and asked him for an autograph, and this dude was still in high school. And his name is Alfonso Buck Johnson. And he used to play basketball for Hayes. And I remember me and Fred and a lot of us elementary school, man, we would always go to see Hayes play basketball. Hayes High School, Birmingham, Alabama. And his name is Alfonso Buck Johnson. They call him Buck Johnson. And Buck went to play college ball at the University of Alabama. And then he went to play in the NBA for the Houston Rockets. And I was so inspired by him and inspired. I just wanted to be great because, and I remember, I'll never forget, I caught a ride and my grandma gave me $5. I think it was like $3 or $4 to get in the basketball game. And I remember Hayes had played Woodlawn in Woodlawn Gym. And I remember after the game, I had me a little piece of paper and I found a pen or something. And I ran across the basketball court. And I'll never forget, he was putting on his, putting on the Hayes Pace Setter warm-up suit. And I was like, I'm a big fan. I would, it's nice to meet you. And he was real nice to me. And the dude was only in the 11th or 12th grade, but it felt like I was meeting a grown man. And I was like, I'd like to have your autograph. And he signed my autograph for me. He shook my hand. He said, "What's your name, little buddy?" I said, "My name is Rickey Smiley." I said, "I'm gonna be like you one day." And he said, "All right, keep doing what you're doing." And he went on from there to play basketball for Wimp Sanderson at the University of Alabama. And then he went on to play for the Houston Rockets in the NBA from our community. And I just never forget how nice he was. I mean, I remember going to those games, man, when they would go to the championship because they won the state championship in 81 and 82. And I remember being there. I'll never forget that one time he went down on the fast break and took it behind his back and dunked it. I just remember the whole gym just going absolutely crazy. And I just remember how that made me feel as a kid and how inspired I was, how it made my eyes light up to be something special, to be something great. And it's funny because I just ran into him at the grocery store, and the feeling is the exact same. No, he don't play basketball anymore, but I tell you, man, I feel the same way I felt when I was a kid. Even when I see the other guys that was on the team, when I run into Ty, I don't say it, but most of the time when I talk to Buck, man, I just always express how he made me feel as a kid and what an inspiration he was in my life, without getting too emotional. Damn near had tears in my eyes when I walked away from him because that's the first autograph I got. That was the first somebody that I met he was tall, man. He was 6'6", and he looked down at me and he smiled. He said, "All right, little buddy." He said, "All right, do your thing, man." I'll never forget it. And just to run into him at the grocery store, probably about 58, 60 years old, and I just know how I feel right now. Like, man, that's Buck Johnson. Like, that's still one of my heroes. This was before I got really acquainted with the University of Alabama, before my uncle went to Alabama. It was so big back then, man. They would play high school basketball games at the Boutwell Auditorium. because they couldn't have the games at the high school because the games would be so packed, especially when Hayes played Parker. They had the Bowell Auditorium. And I just wanted to share that, a real inspirational moment, to run into one of your all-time favorites. I don't care if he don't have no endorsements or no commercials. It ain't even about none of that. I run into Shaq and some of the guys in the NBA on a regular basis or whatever, but they just, you know, it's like, hey, what's up, what's up? But man, when I run into Alphonso Buck Johnson, man, damn, it put tears in my eyes because he just means so much to me. So personal. Take me back to my childhood, some of the best days of my life. They have to give people their flowers while they living. Every time I see him, I let him know how much I really appreciate him and how much he inspired me, and the things that he did, how it just changed my life and made me want to become a college student and get out of my situation and try to be the best that I could be. And anybody from Birmingham or anybody that know anything about the Houston Rockets know and understand about, but hey, what's up, man? Going home. You need my ID?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Can we get you a scan and go pass?
Nah, I live here, but I just got my car fixed and I don't have no.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's quicker than showing your ID, you know.
Oh no, I'm good, man. This cool.
Oh, right. Okay, you're Rickey Smiley.
Unfortunately.
I remember meeting you.
I'm on live.
Okay. I remember meeting you at the YMCA recently.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
what's up, everybody? It's Joe Dan the Man, aka Marv Jr.
Hey, yeah, baby.
Swilly for 3.
Yes. Have a good one, man.
You too.
And them dudes work the security, man. They be so damn excited. Oh man, but I just wanted to share that story with y'all, man, because when people start talking about, you know, who inspired you and how did you get to where you are, that was one of my first heroes. And this D on this hat stand for don't waste your time, Dallas ain't going to the Super Bowl. That's what the D stand for, don't. And I'm a Cowboys fan, but I don't like Jerry Jones, and I wish they'd get rid of the head coach or whatever. Jerry Jones kind of reminded me of a slave master in the movie Roots or some shit. But I just wanted to share that story, man. You can Google Alphonso Buck Johnson from Shields Elementary School to Hayes High School to the University of Alabama to the Houston Rockets, from our community. Shout out to him and Enemo and all of those dudes back then, man. We was in like middle school, like we weren't even in middle, we was in elementary school. Like trying to get up money and get a ride to go to the basketball game just to see these. Man, I was more excited then. I went to a Dallas Mavericks game. I've been to a Hawks game. I've been to a Miami Heat game before. With nothing more exciting than those Hayes and Parker high school basketball games. Nothing more exciting. The whole gym smelled like popcorn, you know. And so I just want to share that. Share this video. I hope Buck get this video. Alphonso Buck Johnson, man, that's gonna always be one of my heroes. Whatever. That's the first autograph I got. All right, y'all. Have a good day. I'm gonna turn my Mississippi Mass Choir back up. All right. Peace.